Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we will be reviewing that fan film called Sailor Moon the Movie that was
Wait
done...
a minute, it's Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon the Movie. That's the full title of it.
Oh, okay. Sailor Moon the Movie, and it was released in 2014.
Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon the Movie. If you don't put in Pretty Soldier, you won't be able to find it when you get looking for it.
Oh, I found it.
And you might find the animated version as well as. I think it's an animated version.
Yeah, actually, there's quite a few different versions out there, including a live-action one which was done in Japan.
Yeah, this is an American-made one. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's filmed in New York. So it doesn't have pagodas and stuff hanging around, but there's a lot of green screening going on here, I think.
Yeah.
Which was a problem. Actually, you know the one, who's the one with the green clothes?
That would be...
Is that Saturn or something? Or?
Lita.
No.
Or Sailor Jupiter.
Jupiter. Now, she was in green with a green screen behind her.
Oh, I get it.
So there was a bit of editing things had to muck around. They had to trace her outline so it wouldn't blend in with the green screen. Otherwise, it'd be transparent.
For those of you who are beginner filmmakers or independent ones, I should tell you guys: if you ever work with a green screen, never let your actor wear green on set.
Actually, Sarah did a podcast, was it recently, or
I did an interview video.
YouTube video thing, and she had a top on and had some green motifs on her top, and so we realised that so we had to change the top and do it all over again.
So I had to go and do a swap and change very quick.
I just thought of something.
What?
If you decide to have a green T-shirt on or something or other, you'd be sitting there with a head, 2 arms, and a pair of jeans.
Yeah,
and nothing in the middle, and a chair behind you. Ooh, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
It does explain why other people who use different color green screens, like that, you can use blue and or green, or
there might be other colors you can use depending on what you're doing. Yeah, so an interesting thing.
But I think that you can. I think if you're a professional in the field and know what to do when you come across
professionals make mistakes.
Like if you come across a moment where your character needs to wear a green thing, then there's probably an easy way to get around this sort of thing. Although it's a little, but it's easy to get cleared up eventually.
Anyway, this may end up being a short podcast, and not because we don't want to talk about it. It's just there's not a lot of information on being a fan-based film. Okay?
Yeah, so you guys know, I did some digging into the actual Sailor Moon part. Like, I'm a fan of Sailor Moon, the cartoons and the...
You grew up with that,
and I've watched both the English and the Japanese version, so I know the story really well for a fan. So I know exactly what stories they used in this one.
And what's it trying to do, yeah. Now, what are you going to say? Now, I don't know who produced it, but the director is crikey. Here we go. My handwriting's... I've got screen dumps here, and it's pretty small. David Paritsky, I think he's right pronunciation of his name. He's the director. Now, it was written by David. He did the adaptation, and I think the original manga series was Naoko Takeuchi.
Yeah, she's the original creator of the Sailor Moon comics or graphic novel.
And having said that, the names they actually use in this are actually not from the Japanese version. I think DC Comics or somebody had their version of it, and they took the names from that instead of having the Japanese names, which is a bit rude. I mean, if you're going to do a real fan-based job, how about staying true?
Well, not DC. It's actually DIC.
Oh, DIC.
See,
sorry.
The DIC. They're a cartoon. Based,
they do manga and anime and stuff, do they? Or?
They do a bit of different kinds of cartoons.
Okay, sorry.
I remember in the 90s, this was the first ever manga cartoon I grew up with. And it was, I guess, the DIC guys. They bought the copy, used English actors to do the dubbing.
But they changed the names.
Yeah, and changed the names. Like
anglicised them.
Calling Usagi Serena, calling Darian...
And you're right, it is DIC. One of them stands for Dick, like in Dickheads. Why change it when it's so good? Okay?
I don't know. I don't care.
Anyway,
I grew up with this sort of stuff, so I know what I'm talking about.
Right, here we go. I'm not going to go through all the people's names and the roles they play because I'll be here forever. There's quite a few people here. But, okay. Athena Reddy played Serena, who was Sailor Moon. She is the main one.
And she plays it really well in a funny comic way.
Doesn't she play the other one as well?
Yeah, she plays
2 roles.
the Sailor Sailor Saturn.
Yeah, whatever name is.
Yeah, Sailor Saturn.
I'm talking, anyway, it doesn't say it here on the list. But so she plays a dual role, a klutzy version and an action girl type at the same time. Mm-hmm. I will go through a couple of them. There. See, Athena Reddy plays Serena and another one. Christina Della Rosa plays Ray. Sandra Addison Patrisky plays Mina. Caleb Del Diolusa plays Jet 8. He's Tuxedo. David Mendeville plays Sokite. He's one of the naughty guys, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joyce Middle plays Queen Beryl. She's a nasty piece of work, she is.
Yeah, she must have a very lot of work to do.
No, she had an attitude problem. Maybe she's supposed to. Now, Nikki McGee plays Amy. Therese Panetta plays Lita, is it?
Yeah, I like Lita. I think the actress who pulled her off did a good job mimicking her role. Yep. Even though most of them are not. That's okay. Their acting is a bit, amateurish, but they pretty much pulled off their characters.
Now, that's interesting. Wasn't Jedi Tuxedo?
No.
He's the other guy. Sorry, my mistake. Because Max Flanagan played Tuxedo Mask. Yeah, sorry, my mistake. Brian McGee played Nephrite. Crikey. Whatever.
Nephrite.
Thomas Berenger played Kunzite. And Ron Dorr played Artemis, yeah. No, I can't. It's bad print here, so yeah. I had to do screen copies and everything. I couldn't just cut and paste and stuff easily.
Yeah, there's no Wikipedia thing on this, which makes it a little harder.
So little screen prints and stuff, and I was trying to make it and stuff, and now it's just blurry and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, now before we get into it too much, I mentioned about the green screen problem. Goofs. There was a goof in it.
Really?
That someone picked up on. There's a part in it where Tuxedo Mask saves Sailor Moon from falling over a wall. There's a cutaway, and they come back to him. His mask is upside down. Whoops.
I gotta see that again.
I didn't pick up on it. So
I was very busy.
There are some people out there who just pick things to pieces, don't they, folks? But anyway, look, I haven't got much more to say about it. All I do had one thing. I think it was made on about a $4,000 budget.
$4,000 budget, huh? That's a small budget to play with.
No, I was going to say, fans don't have a lot of money, obviously. And when you think of a $4,000 budget of probably a lot of free actors and calling in some favours for some camera guys and audio guys or whatever and blah, 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 they've had to do green screen it and different things. And so there's going to be problems with it because it's a low budget production.
And not to mention, as long as the actors...
they did their best.
They may do this just for the love of being fan-based
fan base. So
stuff.
It's not going to be polished like a big Hollywood A production type thing, but as a fan movie, to me, it being a lot of, I would say relatively inexperienced people, they've done a pretty good job. I've seen a lot of fan movies of Sarah.
Yeah.
Some I wouldn't waste my time looking at a second time. This one is an enjoyable watch, even though it has its problems.
Yeah. Anyway, as Mike said, I often think fan-based movies, the filmmakers and the writers, they seem to know more intimately about the details of the story of Salem, the story, instead of the ones like the professional writers you may have seen in mainstream films, and you think these guys got it wrong.
And then the actors come in and say, "Well, what's my motivation for this scene? Hello, haven't you read your script? Do Do you not know your character you are playing?
And we hear so many times in the past when an actor says he's never read the comic or even understood the story.
Well, it's about time they picked up a couple of the mags, had a bit of a read of a comic, so, before they take the role on. Or take the role on and then immerse themselves in the culture a bit so they get an idea.
So that's what most of the time I get in these movies. I mean, and these fan people, the fan directors, they seem to have a bit of an understanding of the story than the actual directors who have, like, say, 50 years of experience out of it.
But remember,
well, not 50 years, but just 5 years experience.
But also remember, like I said before, that generally these fan movies are made by people, and I'm not being rude here, people who aren't professional actors. I don't say they can't act. I mean, everyone can act after a fashion, but they're not polished actors. The script writing may not have been done by the first-class script writer who does A-grade movies. You have to allow this for a fan movie.
Yeah.
So when you turn that little button off in your head, sit back and enjoy it, it ain't a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think they did.
Go and tell the story now instead of
I think they
waffling
did
on.
a really okay job mimicking the whole Sailor Moon's experience, for a bunch of kids.
Yeah. Well, see, our favourite, I would have to say this on behalf of Sarah and myself, I think she'll agree, our favourite fan-based film has to be the Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark movie. They copied that movie over a couple of years and did it scene for scene, and it's almost an A movie. It's somewhere about a B movie, but maybe teeter-tottering a bit better.
I noticed something else in this movie that you probably may have not noticed.
What's that?
I think that Darian, when his hair is really cut short, like, to his head. But other shots I've seen him, his hair is a lot more floppier and bushier. Not that I care too much.
No, maybe they just stilled it back or something, made it look better. When he turned the tuxedo.
That might be it. I thought it was pretty.
Well, it made it look smooth.
It's just that 1 minute when he was both. In the first few scenes, you see him with his hair cut really low, and then the next minute, and
it's a bit longer,
and much later on when you see him fighting either one of the bad guys, his hair's a little longer.
Well, it could have been taken a couple of weeks to make the movie or something, and his hair grew. I don't know.
Or maybe he notified someone and told him I chopped my hair down.
Well, maybe he should have gone to the barbers and trimmed his hair. I don't know. I don't watch those things too closely.
Anyway, so I'll get into the story now, guys.
Get into it.
So the story begins where Serena is just napping in her house, and you know what a lazy Bob she is. She's always missing school and late for school.
Sleeping through the alarm. Yeah.
Until she sees something weird on the way to school. She sees a cat with a meow. Yeah, but she doesn't have time to put any thought to it, so she continues on to school.
A little crescent moon on its forehead. That's a strange looking pussycat.
Yeah, so she heads to school.
Looks like Salem on a bad day.
Anyway, she heads to school. Of course, while she's there, she's given a lecture by the teacher, who is, as it turns out, which was one of the bad guys in disguise, who gives her a lecture saying, you have a low score and you should be...
She got an F on her assignment. Not very good.
Amy is the only one who's got the highest grade.
She's
apparently.
Marine.
So she's offered to tutor Serena in order to get her grade up here and there.
Lovely.
Of course, the girls bond over, food and Spice Girls.
And food.
And whatnot.
And food. Considering she's skinny, she eats a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And junk food and everything.
Yeah, that's the thing about Serena. She likes junk food and video games and whatnot.
And doesn't like school or study. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and on the way home from school, she bumps into Darian, a good-looking young guy.
Oh, he's not that good-looking. He's an average-looking young man.
Average-looking good guy, and she hates the fact he continues to call her Meatball Head.
Well, she's a dickhead. He saw her grace. An F. Meatball.
Well, it's because of her weird hairstyle.
She looks lovely. She's cute. A bit long in some parts.
Yeah. Soon enough, she gets home, and her mum is giving her is really angry at her that her grade is just to 30, which is not good for her, because
Yes.
then she tells her, go out, go to the library, study until you get something in your head other than video games.
If you don't improve, don't come home.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Not right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that sort of stuff,
She finally gets allowed back into the house, and before she got down to her homework, she went for a nap. And then the cat arrives, Luna, the cat.
See,
and
it looks just like Salem.
True.
One of his kids.
Probably. And Luna tells Serena, guess what? My name's Luna, and I have this awesome brooch for you, and you're going to be fighting bad guys for the next couple of years.
All right. What?
Yeah, of course, Serena thinks it's all a nightmare or a dream.
A dream,
or whatever.
yeah. Not a talking cat. Yeah, right. Well,
yeah.
Hey, didn't you watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch? There's a talking pussycat there. And didn't that one, what's that one in Disney made? It wasn't a $1 Million Cat or something or other?
$1 Million Cat.
Yeah, he could talk. Yeah.
Anyway,
what's wrong with a talking cat?
But
One
then
cat
again,
says meow.
But then again, that's an old TV show. I mean, movie, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, back to the story.
I'm digressing. Yeah.
So anyway, back to our story. Luna produces a special magical brooch to convince Serena that you're not dreaming. But unfortunately, she continues to doubt this. But then she says, "Moon."
Whatever.
Brooch power, all that stuff.
Whatever.
And she turns into Sailor Moon. Yay!
And who looks just like Sailor, the other one.
Yeah.
Who's on Sailor Saturn? Jupiter, the other one.
That would be Sailor V. Oh,
Venus.
Sorry, guys. I kind of mistook Sailor V. She was actually Sailor V. Sorry, I forgot. Sailor Venus.
Venus. And she looks just like her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's the same actress.
Aha. I know.
Anyway,
I was joking.
So back to the story. Anyway, Luna tells her that Amy is involved in some Negaverse bad guy stuff, and so she must be stopped. But unfortunately, she's not part of the Negaverse. Whatever she turns out.
Whatever.
Yeah, the bad guys, Negaverse.
Negaverse.
That's what they.
Well, okay, I'll take it for it. Yeah.
And turns out, Amy turns out to be Sailor Mercury.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, so
little red one, wasn't it?
No, the blue one.
Blue one. That's right. Sorry, yeah, blue. Yeah.
I
get all the names mixed up. Yeah, they're all dressed the same clothes.
No, they're not.
I
mean,
little sailor suits,
Amy's
different colours.
wearing blue.
Hello.
Amy's wearing blue.
Why's it called Sailor Water then?
Will you shut up?
Yeah, blue water, aqua.
It's supposed to be planets, moron.
Well, the red planet Mars or Mercury.
Yeah. Anyway, Sailor Mercury is the water planet, and she ends up being the bad guys. And of course, Serena is more interested in seeing Tuxedo Mask. Ooh, the cutie.
He looks good. He does look good in a tux and a mask. He looks like a fan of the opera. You put the mask on, comes up all myriad of sins. Yeah.
Anyway, he's pretty cool. Anyway, he eventually tells Serena to get her act together, even though she continues to act like a baby.
She's cute.
I don't know.
Just like you sometimes. Not all the time, but just sometimes.
Anyway, he drops a star locket, and Serena is dazzled by his, disappearance and his reappearance.
Well, you're a nice tux. Yeah.
Anyway.
Hey, Jackie Chan did a movie called Tuxedo.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Moving right along, they defeat the bad guy, and moving on, we cross over to I think, what's her name? Oh yeah, Lita, the Sailor Jupiter character, who is dealing with her own set of problems. Like, she's been expelled from school.
Didn't her parents die or something?
And her parents died, so she has these horrible bills.
Yeah, bills piling up, and they want to go to Victor, and they cut the electricity off and stuff. And
so
she is a nice girl.
So she's dealing with her own set of problems, but she also meets this nice-looking guy named Jed, who's Jedite, who is another Nega Moon bad guy.
Who's one of the naughty guys.
Who's working at Ray's store, where she works as a psychic. Yeah, so he's working there, and while this is all, and eventually he goes on a date with Lita, and it was kind of nice, even though the house they go to is not his because he's borrowing it for a while.
He stole it. he broke into, but she didn't notice that.
Nope.
She wasn't looking. She was taken with his charm.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the story. So eventually, Ray eventually finds out that Serena and Amy are not what they seem, and she tracks them onto a bus, and she thinks that they're the ones who are snatching people up, off the streets to steal their energy.
Yeah, people's energy power or something like that. Yeah.
But fortunately,
we saw a bus disappear.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, they always do that. When you want to catch a bus, they seem to disappear or just don't come.
Yeah, a Jedi tries to defeat them, but they get the upper hand, and he gets away, but he has developed a cut on his arm. He then meets up with Leeta, and she tries to bandage his wound up and all that stuff. And he tells her that he doesn't want to see her anymore, and
he's not good for her.
He also tells her his real name, Jedi Knight.
Jedi.
And
that's a nice name, that.
Yeah, so he heads off, and later on, he meets up with the other sailor soldiers, and this time, he's been backstabbed by his colleagues by them sending their own minions after him. Yeah.
Minions, that was a good movie too. Yeah, little yellow guys. No, okay, sorry. Sorry.
Anyway,
moving right along.
So eventually the Sailor Scouts catch up to Jedi, and they try to take him down, but luckily a leader arrives, and she reveals herself as Sailor Jupiter, and she tries to save Jedi from getting hurt, and all that stuff. But fortunately, he does get he dies in her arms in the end, which is kind of sad. Which is probably, I think, this idea came from originally this idea of one of the bad guys falling in love with the heroine came from. It came from Molly falling in love with Nephrite. It was originally in the cartoon, obviously.
I'll tell you what, I haven't seen the cartoons.
Yeah, so it was originally taken from there. And throughout the Sailor Moon whatever, there's always going to be a character, even the bad guy, falling in love with their victim, which is kind of romantic when I think about it. I always think it's kind of cool to fall for the strong bad boy type.
That's me when I was younger. Hey, I was a troubled youth.
Anyway, so moving on, the girls eventually find out that there's princess coming to town, and there's news that of her having some kind of crystal to unveil at the party. And so the girls make plans to go to the party in order to scope out the situation. Of course, Serena is not invited because she has no tickets.
Bugger. However, she scores the invite, doesn't she?
In fact, she actually gets a special magical pen, a disguise pen, that allows the individual to change into any...
their appearance.
Yeah. Although once Serena is turned into this awesome princess beauty,
she thinks she is one.
She's still a klutz and a dickhead. Whatever. But it doesn't stop her from going, and eventually she fools the guard and walks past him with a fake name.
Princess 70. He's looking for his paperwork and just walks straight through. Hey, what's a good bluff? It's looked pretty good. And a nice dress-ish. Was my style of dress, but I wouldn't wear one.
Another thing about this one, when she's at the party and she's eating and drinking...
I think herself.
Yeah, I think that idea came from season 3, where she's at a party and she starts drinking the wine, not aware that it's not punch, it's wine.
Yeah, and she gets a bit off her chops, and this one as well.
She then dances a bit, and she finally dances with Darian, and they have a bit of a flashback.
Having no flashback.
While this is happening, a fake Sailor Moon is going past the guards and steals the crystal, we think.
We think? Don't we know?
Yeah. She then runs past everyone in the ballroom, and Sailor Moon is baffled that another Sailor Moon just happens to be trudging past.
Looks just like her too. Strange, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, she then tries to chase after her, and she ends up nearly falling from a balcony, from a wall.
A wall.
And this is the scene Mike was referring to earlier.
Tuxedo Master, whatever his name is, saves her, and the next cut his mask is upside down. Hello, props, costumes, continuity guides. Hello.
That was an accident.
Didn't know.
I imagine it was an accident.
Well, you remember that thing we saw, the Discovery of Witches, where they're doing a dance routine?
No.
The main guy and the main girl were dancing. There's nobody else in the room. They danced to a tune. One minute he had a tie on, then he had his tie off and he had tie on while he was still dancing. Hello.
Well, it goes to show you that even the mainstream filmmakers can make mistakes too.
And I've seen microphones creeping around in the shadows behind the people sometimes.
True.
If you look right at the top of the screen, you might see a bit of a bump.
Or at least a dead kitty.
No, you see the shadow of it on the back wall. Out there. I see the dead kitty. Yay!
Anyway, back to the story. So the Sailor Scouts chased after our fake Sailor Scout, and eventually, once they arrive there, he transforms and turns into one of the other bad guys, and he and his colleague try to zap the Sailor Scouts inside a special severe type electrical field thing. Yeah. And unfortunately, Tuxedo Mask can't do diddly because because it would result in giving them his crystal and in order to save Sailor Moon and her colleagues. But he needs the crystals in order to recover his memory, as it turns out.
Yeah. They had. There's a bit of a backstory here for the people who are not into Sailor Moon, the early series, but I gather all the sailors, all the 4 girls, and Darian, all came from a previous time, and all have been recreated in this time. Mm-hmm. And now I believe Darian was a prince of Earth or something.
Yeah, he was a prince of Earth, and Sailor Moon was a prince of
the Moon or something rather, and the other girls lived up there with her or something.
Yeah, all this time in this scene, they are unaware of Sailor Moon's identity.
And Sailor Moon didn't know because they all had no memory of the previous lives.
Yeah. Soon enough, they meet Mina, and she saves them. She turns out to be Sailor Venus or Sailor V.
She's cute. She looks better than Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm. Haha.
Oh, same girl.
Yeah. Anyway, the girls finally bond, and they realize that they still have to find the princess and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Tuxedo Mask Darian returns back to his apartment, and he crashes on the couch or crashes on his bed because he's very badly wounded.
Did he have sore arm or something or back?
He was badly stabbed in the back.
Yeah. How rude.
Yeah, anyway,
moving right along.
Soon enough, Queen Beryl orders her last minion, who his colleague was killed because of his disobedience.
He didn't perform well.
Oh, man.
Well, gee, if I had workers like when I was working somewhere, they would have had no one on the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, he challenges Tuxedo Mask to a duel in order to get the crystals, And
he cheated.
Yeah, well.
He cheated. He did.
In resulting, well, I won't go to that just yet. So he then challenged him to a duel on a building. So he goes there, and Serena, who realizes that he was bleeding from a wound of sorts, traipses after Darian.
Yeah.
Because she's worried about him, and even despite her klutziness, she's also got a big heart.
She's a nice girl. Yeah.
So she also cares about people. As I often say, people can care even if they're weird.
And she's weird.
So
she certainly is, folks.
So, folks, she traipses after him, and they head into the building, which shuts on their way in. And they end up heading off into an elevator, and he just tells her about how he needs to find these crystals in order to sort out his memory, because he has no memory of his life before this horrible car crash he had with his parents.
Which was a lie.
I don't know about that. Maybe. It's still a real thing. You can't really deny the fact that it's previous.
I think it was an implanted memory, because he had no memory before that, because he didn't really probably exist in this time. Maybe. Remember they all were...
Past lives, like reincarnation, yada, yada, yada.
Okay, maybe, yeah. They glossed over that bit, so I was picking up the bits while I was watching it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
back
Probably
to the story.
check that. She's probably right. I'm probably wrong. Yeah.
Anyway, back to this story.
She's always right.
So
Not always, but sometimes.
So
However,
will you shut up?
Okay. I'll shut up. I know when to shut up.
Are you done?
I'm finished shutting up. Okay, you can carry on now.
Anyway, the Sailor Scouts, they hear that Sailor Moon is late, so they had to head to where her last location is. And dear old the bad guy decides to send a horrible, burning orb in order to destroy the elevator. And Serena is left with this horrible realization that if she doesn't transform, both Darien and her are going to be incinerated.
They will be, charcoal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
if they're lucky.
So she transforms in front of him, and she confronts the bad guy, and the bad guy says he has nothing to do with her because he's there for Tuxedo Mask. And she says Tuxedo Mask is not here, yada yada. But then she finds out that Darien is Tuxedo Mask.
It's not like Clark Kent if his glasses. Takes his glasses off, he looks like Superman. You know? Funny of those.
I think it's much more interesting in the comic, and the Sailor, Moon crystal, which is a lot more cooler when I think about it. That one has a bit more insight, and it makes Usagi a little bit more intelligent, even though she's still
intelligent.
Even though she's still a dumb.
She's a dumb
idiot.
blonde. I mean, she doesn't do much for blondes. I must admit, she is cute, but
still an idiot.
She's nearly. I mean, not the girl, the actor, the role she's playing.
Anyway, back to the story. So she, Salem, the Tuxedo Mask reveals himself as Darien.
He reveals himself. That's a bit rude. It's off of general rating. You said, he didn't reveal himself. He revealed himself.
Yeah,
okay.
So he transforms, and we see who he is.
Himself.
I gotta admit, I do like the special effects in this a little bit here, and I like the music they use. They used it from the original movies too. I mean, the TV series.
Some of the musical score wasn't up the par, though. Come on, you must admit.
Mm-hmm. They actually used from all the TV series, not just the live action one, but the cartoon ones too.
Yeah, some of it just didn't work for me.
Yeah, he doesn't like the jazz one that was in the cafeteria
it just
scene.
didn't work. But anyway, irrespective, it is a low budget job. You get away with what you got.
Anyway, back to the story. So, Tuxedo Mask offers to protect Sailor Moon, and he says that to the bad guy, "You will not harm Sailor Moon when we're doing this duel thing." Unfortunately, he cheats. He ends up he tries to stab Serena, while no one was looking. And eventually, Tuxedo Mask jumps in front of Sailor Moon and getting a serious blow to the back.
He dies.
Yeah. Eventually...
Does he? Oh, yeah,
no, he doesn't actually.
He gets ill. A bad wound.
Yeah. Anyway, Serena finally transforms into the Moon Princess.
Yes. Yeah, nice dress, nice white gown, very nice.
And the silver crystal reveals itself and eventually the special Sailor Moon wand appears, and the crystal appears, and eventually Sailor Moon uses the crystal to defeat that final foe. Or not final foe.
It was just like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader.
Oh, brother.
They did. They were blasting at each other, and they couldn't get to each other because it was meeting in the middle of blocking each other at the same time. They got the idea from that probably somewhere.
Not as slightest, Mike. Anyway.
I thought it did. Use the Force, Sailor Moon. Oh, whatever.
Anyway, her friends find out about this, and when we were thinking that things were going to do good eventually, Darien eventually gets zapped by Beryl to the Negaverse, and Beryl plans on removing all those awesome memories from his mind.
Yeah.
And this is where Serena gets a dream where she dreams about about the Moon Kingdom, about her mom, and all her past life, and with Darien and the kingdom itself. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a big shock in the system. Yeah.
It was a shock, especially when she wakes the next day or that evening, and she feels rather sad that she doesn't feel like she can save Darien or save herself using this new, the Imperial, silver crystal.
And the thingy-wingy, that little gizmo
Well,
that goes on it.
Well,
the thing it sits in. Yeah.
See, I think the Imperial silver crystal is a lot more important than the moon wand, according to.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
Lunar Girl out of PJ Masks. She had a little thing like that, had the crystal sitting on it.
Yeah, well.
I wonder if they got the idea from Sailor Moon.
I don't know, Mike. Maybe.
Well.
Anyway. So,
I don't watch it. I watch with my grandchildren. Thank you.
Yes, coming from a man who has never watched Sailor Moon before, and now he can't remember it.
And I watch PJ Masks with my little grandchildren.
Anyway, Serena is upset that she took away Darien from Ray, even though Ray admits that Darien was always to be Serena's, because it was fate. It was fate.
They were in a previous life.
I don't know if that's true or not. Whether or not a previous life entitles you to be in that relationship whatsoever.
Possession's 9/10 of the law. Whoever gets their hands on him first,
good point,
whatever.
Good point.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're left with it's up to Serena and the others to find Queen Beryl and defeat her and get Darien back. So they make the point to transport to the furthest part of the world in order to get to Queen Beryl's castle and save the world eventually. So eventually they combine their powers and they transform themselves to that set of location, and it's in a very frozen climate, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just like the Star Wars 5. What's it? That one started off on snow.
Don't you mean Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah. Star Wars 5. Well, you said 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's snowy, very snowy.
Anyway, of course, wearing the Sailor Moon costumes would give you pneumonia.
If they were guys, they'd be freezing the what's off. Yeah.
Yeah, parts off, whatever. Anyway, eventually Queen Beryl uses her powers to make double-ganger, evil, bad Sailor Moon scouts
evil
of them.
Clones of them. Yeah.
And tried to defeat them one by one.
It didn't work.
Well, actually, it did. I mean, they did, but they also killed the bad doppelgangers too, unfortunately. So both the scouts and the doppelgangers were both killed in different times.
That's Serena's
leaving Serena alone, and Beryl liked it that way, so she zapped her to her castle, where Darien is there.
He's hanging around.
Who's decked up in his prince outfit, where he plans on killing Serena.
Yeah, he's under an enchantment, because Miss Beryl is a witch, and he's under some sort of enchantment.
Yeah, he tries to fight Serena, and eventually Serena takes out her locket that was given to him in his previous life, and she tells him that to remember the past.
And it does, and
it works.
And it breaks the spell. True love will always conquer.
Eventually, Queen Beryl gets angry at this, but eventually, using one of his special roses, he ends up penetrating her orb and into her chest. Bam!
That didn't plan out well, did it, folks?
Yeah, she screams and cuddles and plans on seeking revenge on both Darien and Serena eventually.
Yeah. And she comes back as a big spirit type thing, doesn't she? Or
Growing, say, a few feet tall.
100 feet tall or something or other, or huge.
Yeah, anyway, Serena tells Darien that she won't kiss him yet because she
got a pimple on her lip, probably. Yeah.
No, she just said that she didn't want to end it where she's wishing to kiss him goodbye and that's all.
She wants to kiss him hello.
Yes. So she heads off to do her final confronting with Queen Beryl. And this is the scene that's very similar to both the cartoons versions, which I think I'm kind of glad they did it this way, to be honest. Anyway, Beryl seals her up in a crystal, bam, but luckily enough, Serena eventually breaks the top of it and was able to take the silver crystal and start zapping her.
Zap, 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 zap. Yeah.
And all the time she's thinking about her friends and flashbacks to her previous times with them. and she eventually calls upon them, telling them
their power,
to help her and have their strength to help aid her and all that stuff.
And something like there's 4 or 5.
4 of them.
Yeah.
Four and Serena, obviously.
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah, her power to the power of 5. Yeah.
And all of them appear and help her hold her moon wand, and all say their powers. And Serena says, "Moon, crystal, power," and eventually this zaps Beryl off her pedestal and killing her.
Oh, what a shame. Never mind.
And then we flash to Serena narrating how she wishes that things were back to normal, and how she would love to things were back the way they were.
It's a bit like making wish. So everyone gets transported back in time to the day before they were made aware that they were all Sailor Moon and all Sailor whatevers, and everyone had normal lives again and had no memories of each other.
Yeah, except for Luna and Artemis, who were aware of the past few days.
The Pussycats.
I think that things I think all their memories were wiped, meaning that they don't have.
Well, I took them back in time, back to.
No, I don't think they went back in time. I think they just wiped their memories clean, meaning that the past few weeks or months.
Sailor Moon woke up the same room on the same morning. She had that in the same morning she was late for school. Exactly the same. So they took them back to the several days before it all happened. So they had no memories of it.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, but they might meet each other later anyway.
But Artemis and Luna are aware of what they did and say that one day they will be reunited and their journey will continue. Yada, yada, yada.
They might be friends in in an ordinary way, has it? Yeah.
Well, actually, this is all season 1, this whole part, but by the season 2, they do eventually reconnect and they get their powers back, and they then fight new foes as we go.
Is Sailor Moon still a wimp?
Yeah,
throughout. It makes it interesting.
I think deep down she does get a little bit more character development. Character development, not too much character development. She's still a wimp and still a crybaby throughout. But which makes me wonder, how does Darian stay with her? I never know.
Yeah. Anyway, that is pretty much it.
Yeah.
Now, but before I just know something. This is known as Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon the Movie, but it also goes under another title, Sailor Moon the Movie, Pretty Soldier. So if you're looking for as a YouTube, you might have to dig all the words around it, Tad.
Yeah, if you were me, guys, I will put down Sailor Moon fan films.
Yeah, put the word fan in there, maybe.
Is that way you guys don't end up getting the cartoon animation one?
And it's 2014, so look, it's not an A movie being a fandom type movie, but to me, if I was a young teenager, I'd probably enjoy it. I'm 68 years old. It ain't my cup of tea, but I can see what they're trying to do by the actors and directors and the screenwriter. I mean, it came together pretty good.
Well, I'm 36, guys, and
she still enjoys it,
and I still enjoy it. It makes me think back to my own childhood, even though back then it was all small potatoes back then.
Well, yeah, you were into this sort of stuff. You're into Power Rangers. If my memory serves me correctly,
I was into that.
Samurai Pizza Cats comes to mind.
Scratch that, guys. I think Samurai Pizza Cats were my first ever manga type cartoon. Yeah. So this was probably my second, being exposed to manga cartoons sort of things.
She loves all these good stuff. Yeah, the manga and anime stuff. She's always liked it. Yep.
It's always interesting to watch. Although I didn't like it when they overdone it here and there in such cases.
In some cases they do, but when I was a young man a long time ago, children, the only thing I can remember watching, which might have been manga or anime or whatever, was Astro Boy. That was very popular when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, that would make a third one. I forgot that.
Yeah, but that was I was watching the originals. You might have been watching remakes.
That could be it.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad. I mean, I enjoyed it, even though I wouldn't say it was bad. I mean, compared to a Disney cartoon, it was a bit stiff. But the stories weren't bad.
Yeah,
it was good. So I grew up in that sort of stuff, sort of, but not as much as you. because they didn't have as much. They sort of Mickey Mouses and Donald Duck cartoons and Bugs Bunnies, but didn't have the Asian stuff coming in. So
Yeah, so those ones, along with other cartoons that showed up in different ways, I do enjoyed watching Sailor Moon. I don't like her Serena too much because Serena is always annoying sometimes, but she's funny annoying when you think about it.
She reminds me of Lucy. And I love Lucy. She's wimpy and stuff, but she's lovable.
I think, I mean, I know that she's relatable. After all, this is catered to a young kid audience, and when you're a kid, you want to cry.
You won't necessarily be brave. I want my mummy sort of thing. But
I don't know about that. Maybe.
Well, anyway, look.
And it's not so good when in reality you start wimping out in reality, and you wish yourself.
Yeah, well, then you got to.
And then you wish yourself that you were not acting like Sailor Moon.
And it's time for a reality check. Hey guys.
Yeah. Sailor Moon is never a reality check type of person.
No, she can't change the character, otherwise it wouldn't be funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other ones there who support her, the smart one. Who's it?
Yeah, that would be Amy.
Amy. So she's always going to be the smart one, obviously, and the little fighty one,
that would be Lita.
Yeah, the red.
Oh no, that's Ray. Sorry.
Right. Now Ray's always going to be a little tough one.
And
the other one, yeah.
That would be which one are you referring to?
Well, the little one with red clothes. It was working in a bookshop for grandfather or whatever. Yeah.
That was Ray.
I just said that. She's a tough little nugget in herself.
Yeah, but
she was tough first.
Yeah, but
then the one in the green clothes, whatever her name is,
Lita.
She was tough too. Yeah. But
and
she came in after. Yeah,
you also forgot Sailor Venus.
Yeah, well, she was Sailor Bloody Moon, wasn't she? Dressed up in with better makeup,
Yeah, well, they had to use, I guess, an actor extra to do the shoulder over the part.
I don't understand why I just didn't use two different girls.
I don't know either. Maybe they thought they wanted her to look like a doppelganger, like Sailor Moon.
In her alter ego, she looked pretty damn good.
True.
She looked like a model almost and stuff, but the other one, Sailor Moon, was a goofy girl next door. But she did well. She handled both roles very well. Anyway, I can't say too much about it because I can't find the information on it. I normally go on about location shoots. It was done in New York, yada, yada. Been there, done that.
I do like the music that, as I said before to you guys, that the music was taken from both the English and Japanese cartoons. They have some really interesting soundtracks that I really have enjoyed listening to, especially the ending and the opening and the ending, to the series.
Exactly.
I also like the music that was played inside the locket. That's
nice little melody inside the locket. I don't know who wrote that. Whatever.
Nah.
Oh, sorry. That's smoke on the water, isn't it? Yeah, whatever. What's the matter?
Anyway, I always think that's an awesome tune in the opening. The fight evil fight by moonlight, win in love by daylight.
Don't give it your day job.
Never running from a real fight. She is the one named Sailor Moon. I'm not going to sing the rest, obviously.
Good. Sorry.
Of course, the Japanese one is probably pretty cool too, but unfortunately, I'm not going to speak that in Japanese.
Well, you don't know Japanese. It's very hard.
Not vaguely. I only know a few words in Japanese, like sayonara and konnichiwa and arigato.
Sukiyaki?
What's that?
That's food.
Arigato.
Yeah, he did the karate a few years ago. Yeah.
And I know a little bit of the numbers, obviously. But apart from that, I don't know much about Japanese words. Although I do enjoy listening to the Japanese cartoon, and luckily there's subtitles to help.
I know Italian. Lasagna. Ravioli. Chianti.
I mean, as I said before, it's always good to learn second language, even if you don't know it really well. Even you could just watch the body language in the cartoon and work out what they're going to say or they're about to do.
Well, yeah, it's more of a visual thing than audio anyway in a lot of cases, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't think of anything else to say about it 'cause I've got nothing to talk about. So, all I can say is, as an independent, low-budget film, it's come over pretty damn good for what they had to work with.
We also watched, before we watched this one, we also watched a 20-minute short of a Sailor Moon one.
It wasn't too bad.
Which is not too bad. I thought the
it could
CGI
have
was
been
good to
developed
that
a bit
too.
more, but they just did the first bit of it and then nothing happened.
Yeah,
And
I think there was
sad.
I think there was a point to making continuation, but I don't know. Maybe the budget was too small.
But I think some of the actors went on to other things
that
as well.
Could be it.
I had a look there. The guy who played Tuxedo, I think, went on to doing some other productions and stuff. He didn't have time to come back and resume the role.
Yeah, I would have loved it if they came back in for that short. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, especially the CGI and the actors they worked with. But maybe it was just the money quality. Because when you think about making a fandom, fandom,
no money.
It's a little hard to do a fandom because you obviously may have to pay royalty rights to the original creators.
Well, you may have to. If you look at we did mention that fan movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was a tribute movie made in honour of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. You actually make it, so they didn't make it as a money-making venture.
Exactly.
So they made it as a tribute to the heroes in filmmaking. So they probably didn't have to pay anything.
Yeah, I get this conversation ever so often with several filmmaker colleagues,
It gets
and
hard. It's a borderline.
It's a little hard to do this sort of thing without even though this thing it's not going to turn into a other people who have made fan films out there, like the Never Hike Alone, they've made a little bit of money from it. Made submitted, released DVDs and products and stuff like that.
Your mate Joshua Kennedy, he's done remakes of the old Hammer movies and stuff.
True.
But the Hammer movies were made over 70 years ago or something. Those ones there, so they're probably past their copyright dates.
Well, most of his are more of original ideas by him, but he's not copying their works per se.
Well, he's grabbed the move and he's shaken around. He's rewritten the script a bit. But he's taken like the Gorgon and different things. But he's written some other ones, some octopus one and different things. And
so
he's made up his own as well.
He hasn't ripped the story from original story per se.
He just the theme.
He just took an original idea and changed it more from the original.
Rolled it and folded it and put it in the oven for baby and me.
Exactly. Anyway, do you want to rate this now? Because I feel like we should rate it.
I usually do the ratings, as you stalwart listeners are aware, based on the type of movie. If I review an A movie, I will grade it against other A movies. If I do it against a B movie against B movies, I'll grade it as such. So we're not going to do apples and oranges. Now, coming down to being a fan film, I'm basing it on other fan films, not against an A movie. So, being fair, I can't see too many things wrong with it. Yes, the acting could have been a bit sharper. Maybe there might have been a few little floppies there, and maybe the continuity here and there, maybe. I think it was pretty well okay. The script was pretty well basic, but hey, you want a basic script, you want the story to flow reasonably easy. So I'm going to give it 9.
Yeah, I'm going to give it 9 too, I think.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. I mean, there could have been a few things to bring it up a little bit higher, but honestly, a fan film is a fan film. It's not made for A-grade commercial release through the theatre network.
Yeah, I just think that the energy and the compassion
and the
behind it
and stuff
is there.
Yeah, and that's what you look at. And I've seen A movies which don't have that excitement, passion, or love, or fun, or whatever. They look like the people just going through the motions. Oh, I'm getting paid for this.
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, even the independent filmmakers, back in the old days, they often say that they put enjoyment involved in
Exactly
these films,
right.
and that's probably what's lost at the moment.
Yeah.
With,
It's a job. We'll get that a producer here. He's going to hire a director. He's going to hire that whole screen test. Okay, I'll put my hand up that job. No, we don't like you. We'll get somebody else. It's just all, let's bung it together and see what comes out the other end. It's all, everyone's on wages. So, yeah, when you got independents doing it out of love and enthusiasm, it shows in their production.
Yeah, I mean, even some people, I think even in the old days, some of them may not have received a lot of money during
back in the olden days, people didn't get a lot of money.
Yeah.
Not like today.
And while they're doing it out of love for the production more than...
Or the excitement of acting the movie. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's more to do with that sort of thing instead of about the money side.
Do you remember, a lot of those old black and white movies?
Yes.
And a lot of those people, we sort of think about Ed Wood and when Bela Lugosi. By the time when he was dying, he was broke. He didn't make a lot of money in his career. He was in movies, he was on stage, whatever. They didn't pay big dollars. They were like almost working wages. And that's the problem. They didn't get it. And a lot of those people retired to retirement homes and stuff in the end. They didn't have big dollars.
True.
But they enjoyed the fact they were on screen.
Yeah, that's where the excitement comes from.
Nowadays, I'm not saying everyone gets paid big dollars, but some people get paid a phenomenal amount of money. I won't mention names because I might get in trouble, but a big name actor, a drag movie, you're getting 6 and 7 digit pay packets to do a movie, and they're on set for about 2 or 3 months or something or other. And that's obscene.
I do think that the independent filmmakers, they do it for the love of filmmaking, not unlike the mainstream ones who do it for the love of getting lots of money.
Yeah, so our next production might have to be like that. No money.
Yeah, I love
it. We might have to make it a little bit.
I love a bit of an the creative side when it comes to the filmmaking, not the money side. I just wish other people felt the same way. Felt the that type of enthusiasm behind it.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's about it for us tonight.
Anyway, thank you for listening.
And I hope you guys may check it out. I'll be sure to put a link in the description box.
That will find a lot easier because I had trouble finding it when I was trying to get notes to review it. But it's just all the listings are really hard, similar names and stuff.
So I'll put a link in the bottom in the description box. So you may check it out.
Click on this. It will not take you to a fake site and it'll wipe your computer. It's a real link. Okay.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to our latest review, and we'll talk to you guys very, very soon. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying we'll see you guys for our next review. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.